April 10, 2000. A group of prisoners pick up trash around the town of Florence. Accidentally discovered a roadside ditch. There was a discarded laundry bag inside. What's in the bag is not old. It's the habitable, crippled human body. Spinal partial loss. 10 heads missing. 9 fingers are missing. The clothing fragments on the body suggest that victim is female. The body was highly decomposed and damaged. A more detailed examination is required to determine the crime, or subsequent remains apparently. It's been sitting there for quite some time. Police speculate that the body was disfigured by the murderer to increase the difficulty of identifying the victim. However, given the degree of fran, apparently the body has become estranged again. It could also be done by wild animals. Detectives can't say for sure the place where the crime took place, because there was no struggle around where the remains were found. Signs of blood or murder, probably after the crime. The body was brought here and discarded. The first step in the investigation is to identify the victim, then look for the location where he was finally killed, to gather evidence. After checking the location where the body was found, the police did not find any obvious signs of a struggle. This supports one in criminal backup. Assumptions brought here. The only clue is the card. 3 on the bag zipper. After the hair is sent for inspection, forensic results uploaded to police database, but no match was found. The American town of Florence is located in Kentucky. It's a small but beautiful place. Approximately 30,000 population. It is also the commercial center of northern Kentucky because of the large number of stores, as well as a vantage point close to major transportation routes. This area is always busy. Endless stream. Every year, thousands of travelers have complained here. At the same time, law enforcement officials reached out to local residents through the media, solicit leads. After the case attracted attention, a girl named Michelle called immediately, talked to the police station. The girl said that almost a year ago, her 45-year-old mother, Tina, is missing. All this time, she has been desperately searching for her mother. Follow the news. The body found alone is Tina. Welcome back to the Blood Archives. Let's review the details of the case. Tina Stevens was born in 1955, in the turbulent late 1960s and early 1970s. He became Shippy. Try the true embodiment of the form. This girl has always been full of creativity, freedom of attitude towards life. He travels a lot, temporarily done waiter or other service industry jobs. His life is more like a party girl. He can't imagine himself in public. Do a serious job in the company. His free-spirited lifestyle once led him in Florida joeying. Illegal items go to jail and served a short sentence. When his daughter Michelle was born, his mother was 19. His independent nature kept him from his daughter. I don't want to burden myself with my children, so they gave their daughter to another family. Unlike mother, Michelle grew up in a loving environment. He dedicated all his free time to his family, despite being wrong to your boyfriend. But he gradually restored his relationship with his mother. However, he continued his usual way of life. He often disappears from his daughter's sight for a long time, even without warning. Michelle, you have become accustomed to these strange behaviors of your mother, and accepted the mother missed all the important moments in his life. But a lot seems to have changed recently. Settled down and finally matured at the age of 15. September 1999. His grandson is 3 years old, but Tino didn't attend his birthday party, and it was very frustrating for him. For a woman who loves her grandson, this behavior is abnormal. He always makes time for his family, especially at such an important moment. However, Tina just stopped contacting anyone. No one can reach him or know where he is. After nearly 6 months of no contact, his daughter realized that mother may be in trouble this time. Tina used to. I've never been out of touch with my family for so long, so his daughter is worried. Michelle finally called the police, but law enforcement officials refused to accept it, probably because of this woman's lifestyle. Looks like a nomad. Go! Missing persons notices were subsequently published in all newspapers, and start actively posting flyer about his missing mother. Michelle tried her best, but to no avail. April 11th, 2000. Daughter Michelle, he went to the police station again and informed their mother, who has been missing for about a year. Michelle gave a detailed account of his mother, point out the characteristics of its appearance, such as a tattoo on the neck, eye color, hair color, and other important characteristics. However, considering the corpse It's almost bone to bone. His description is of little help in the investigation. The detective invited Michelle to the police station for further investigation, ask for and obtain important details. Here it is. He was able to provide some really useful information. His mother broke her leg a few years ago. Later, the forensic doctor. The same injury was indeed found on the skeleton machine. Even so, this data is still not enough to confirm 100% identity. But the body has been temporarily identified as Tina. At that time, DNS detection was not widely used. Therefore, it was not used in this case. In a detailed examination of regret, the medical examiner also found a place in the clavicle area, like a knife wound. It is possible that the woman was stabbed with a knife. With this information, law enforcement officials start investigating Tina's closest moments, trying to identify the murderer who might have wanted to harm her. After investigation, detectives discovered that, shortly before Tina disappeared, he was in a relationship with a man named Thomas. At that time, rumor has it that this boyfriend abused Tina. The two then broke up. After reviewing police records, the detective confirmed the couple has a history of domestic violence. The police are often alerted to their address. Both have been arrested. It turns out the woman is responsible for the attack. He was charged with a misdemeanor and released, although Thomas was cleared of the charges. But investigators immediately became interested in him, list him as a suspect. They subpoenaed Thomas to warm up during a meeting at the police station. The man was visibly nervous and confused, just making it up. The detective then asked to see his car. The owner reluctantly allowed it. The victim has been missing for over a year. Dried old blood was found on the car door. Thomas immediately denied having anything to do with it. Also can't explain the source of the blood stain. Therefore, it is necessary to confirm the trace of low grace found was Tina's. Forensics took samples and sent them to the lab for testing. The police seemed to be on the verge of cracking the case. But the test results did not confirm that the blood stain belonged to the victim. The police have no direct evidence against Thomas. He had to be released. Since the discovery of the woman's body, it's been almost 3 weeks. When the case seems to have reached an impasse, the police suddenly discovered the connection between the victim and a suspicious couple. It's Sabra and Leonard. Leonard turned out to be Tina's ex-boyfriend. The three of them work in the same company. They lead similar lives. The deeper the detective probes into the relationship between the three, the more suspicious. Trying to find out from Tina's friends and real-world friends. Possible murderer. Police found him having an affair with Leonard, 37, at the place of investigation. Tina's family mentioned him to the police, but the detectives didn't pay much attention at first. It is reported that in 1994, they have one in Florida, rehabilitation center. Nah and Reiner participated in an addiction treatment. The 12-step plan. When they were done, they returned to Leonard's hometown, and we settled there together. At first, everything was fine. The couple support each other. Deep feelings. But something went wrong. They broke up in 1996. It is still unclear how their recent relationship has been. It is because of the long time interval. Detectives initially ignored Leonard. At this moment, Thomas has been ruled out as a possible murderer. But the police, the analysis of the victim's personal relationship with Leonard, the more everything seems suspicious. In order to learn more about this new case, the character detectives turned to Leonard's supervisor for help. The supervisor agreed to cooperate with the police, answer a few questions, according to Director Zhuai. At the same time that Tina disappeared, Leonard and his girlfriend are in Paracel. Stayed in Kentucky for a few months. He's laying cables here. Complete another order from the company. This means he could be at the crime scene. This coincidence does not seem to be accidental. Leonard's supervisor said, late May 1999, he is drinking in a bar. I happened to meet Leonard and his ex-girlfriend, Tina, and they spent some time together, talking about irrelevant topics, acting casually. Went unnoticed. However, in private conversations, Leonard claims that Tina is the love of his life. After that night, the director and Leonard went home. However, during this period, Leonard already has a girlfriend, named Deborah, but his feelings for Tina never cooled. So he, falling into an unenviable love triangle. This situation often ends in tragedy. Later, about this secret love affair, and so did to Bella herself. His ex-girlfriend to his man, full of genuine hatred. He mentioned it to his inner circle several times. so the news reached the working public. The head of the department, he heard it more than once. His employees want his rival Tina dead, because of him. They take his man away from him. In this context, Tina's disappearance is a big suspect for this couple. Leonard cheated on his girlfriend many times to spend time with his lover. Deborah suspects him, but never caught him lying. It made him very angry. Finally, Burra found his boyfriend and his mistress. Where at this time? They are in another motel room. Have fun! The angry woman found the pair here. Sweet couple. He had a brain attack, broken glass, and threatened Tina. If he doesn't give up meeting his lover, just kill him. The motel staff even called the police. They managed to put the melee to rest and made a joint report, but the people involved later reconciled and went to the room together. This all happened at the same time. One of the participants in the love triangle, Tina, has disappeared. Leonard's supervisor finished telling the story. The police went directly to Burra's motel investigation. Now this was, of course, a year ago. This place has been cleaned dozens of times. As expected, investigators were unable to find anything. However, the detectives were able to communicate with the police at the motel. Civil employee conversation includes responsibility for checking out guests after cleaning the room, the waiter, according to this woman. And the room was a mess. Glass breaking. Furniture is scattered everywhere. However, and she immediately noticed something unusual. First of all, despite the chaos in the room, but the sheets on the bed are unusually clean. He immediately realized this is not a bed sheet commonly used in hotels. It's something completely different. Secondly, the shower is missing. Can't find the wall anymore. Treated with bleach. There is a strong smell of cleaning products everywhere, except for the debris. The room is generally to clean, even for those who love cleanliness. The same is true for guests, not to mention those who made a big fuss. Anyway, it looks like the place has been thoroughly cleaned. But why would they do that? Is there really anything to hide? However, these suspicions were not investigated further at the time, because no one had found the body yet, so the waiter forgot all about it, until he testified at the police station. This information is crucial to the investigation. The detectives were fortunate. Something terrible has happened in this room. This is probably where Tina was murdered. All missing items were taken, because they're all covered in blood. Unfortunately, there is no physical evidence to support these hypotheses, so the police went to North Carolina, talked to Deborah and Leonard in person, although the investigators had expected. But this couple is very willing to talk. They were candid about the man's extramarital affairs. Love but completely deny involvement in the crime. Hair samples were taken from both of them, within package. Card found on zipper of victim's integrated bag. Living materials. Compare. After laboratory tests, it was found that there was a mismatch. Law enforcement officials believe that the likely outcome of a breakthrough is total failure. They really got nothing. Case stalled again. However, progress was made in April 2002. Kentucky State Police. Police officers from the Lynn family arrived at the local prison. Not so long ago, Leonard was rearrested for distributing illegal goods. Leonard was in prison for another crime at the time. He realized that he was guilty of conspiracy and fear of tampering with evidence. We will face a long-term trap. No judgment. He accused Deborah at trial, how his ex-girlfriend confessed to him and convinced him to help dispose of the body, while denying any involvement in Tina's murder. He claims to have seen Deborah stab Tina. Tina falls and bleeds, but he is not rescued by the unit. Instead, they wounded him to death, then helped dispose of the body. This claim was corroborated by forensic testimony. We're also trying to get people to comment on his pre-trial remarks. Lawyers are confident that he has not transferred his suspicions. A short sentence for illness refers to an empty girlfriend. But at the hearing, there are already many witnesses who suspect that Burra is involved in the crime. People know about the conflict between these two women. Ben Fang said that at the crime scene where the body was inspected, it's bound to leave a lot of blood. It will never happen overnight. Clean up the hotel room. The waitress can't be unaware, but the prosecutor assured us it was a manageable task. He has seen such situations. Then the investigators immediately to North Carolina, where Deborah works, needing Tear's processing factory. The woman was arrested for murder, and he was absolutely stunned. He claimed it was some kind of misunderstanding. He was not involved in the death of his boyfriend's mistress. The challenge is whether this is sufficient in court to convict. However, the detectives are determined. Early May 2005. Deborah, 45, on trial for murder. The hearing was held in Boone County, Kentucky. Prosecutor's office charges. About 6 years ago, i.e. May 1999, the defendant was found in a hotel. His boyfriend is with his mistress. Then he killed his rival and disposed of the body. The main motivation for the crime is several degrees. In this trial, his lifestyle towards his victims made a cruel joke. His love for freedom and homelessness. It is considered as a potentially dangerous behavior. He was accused of selling his body. Deborah thinks Wandering Tina was killed by some homeless person. The murderer casually threw his body in the ditch. May 16, 2005. The jury reached a verdict. They believe that the Deborah Court murderer was motivated by extreme, got rid of his love rival, and then he and his boyfriend disposed of the evidence and the body. The jury emphasized the defendant was victimized by sharp remarks. Make them believe that the defendant was involved. Dinah's family is very happy. After all these years, he finally escaped justice. June 7, 2005. Deborah was sentenced to life imprisonment. No parole. However, the story does not end there. In 2013, the convicted criminal was sentenced to 8 years in prison. His defense counsel appealed. Lawyer requires. Get in. Hair found on zipper of decorative bag. Sample they are going to be in a. Private laboratories conduct research in the collection of cases. Oh, hair of relevant personnel and people familiar with the defendant. March 28, 2014. The court granted Deborah's defense. Lawyers appeal. However, no progress has been made so far. Deborah's still in prison. Michelle's complex feelings towards her mother, Tina, exhibited vividly in the case. Although it was determined that the early years were due to the independent and free nature, failure to fulfill the responsibilities of a mother, long separation from Michelle, but after Michelle's mother went missing, demonstrated perseverance and determination. Let people see the power of family love. He's desperate to find his mother. Report to the police. Post flyers. Don't miss a clue. Even if the police initially ignored it, he never gave up. This spirit of unremitting efforts to hold relatives. Admirable. And the murderer in this case rose up a lot. From the very beginning, he had a relationship with Israel Thomas, who has a history of domestic violence. Leonard and Day, who later fell into a love triangle. Bowler, everyone has something to be suspicious of. The dry nucleus on Thomas' car, the bloodstain doesn't match Tina. Makes people wonder about its origin. Leonard's whereabouts during Tina's disappearance coincided, and his relationship with Tina makes it difficult for him to escape suspicion. Deborah's hatred of Tina was public and intense. His madness at the motel, and the unusual situation of hotel rooms being overcleaned. All the circumstances suggest his close connection to the case. The whole case is like a complex mystery. Every detail could be the key to unlocking the truth. The daughter's insistence and the murderer's suspicious behavior let us deeply feel the complexity of human nature and the difficulty of pursuing justice. But it is also this persistence. Let us believe that no matter how tortuous, the truth will come out one day.